And I wanted to go back to our learning target, but I wanted to start with some of the words. What does it mean to identify something in your own words? DeAndre, what does it mean?
Like to spot or search for something.
To spot or search for something? All right. What else might it mean if you identify something?
Observe.
You observe something? How about label? To label something, if you can identify it, you can label it and say that this is a notebook. I can identify that this is a notebook. So we might, when we identify, we might label something. Are there any other words that describe what it means to identify?
Would be like something clearly.
Like tell what something is? If you can identify this logo on his shirt, then you can tell me what it is. Longmont Lightning, which is a baseball team, so I can identify that it's a baseball team logo. What is identify in Spanish? Oh my. Someone, do we know what identify in Spanish is?
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, do you mean like say it?
Well, yeah, say it, spell for
Do you
me.
mean like say it like
Can you spell identify? So what it would mean to identify?
in Spanish? It's hard to
You don't know? No?
know.
Leslie? Identify?
Yes, he does know.
You want to type it for me? Please.
I think he doesn't do it right on.
I know. It's okay. We're practicing. Do you know what identify is? In the color? No?
No, but we still not in there. Missy, where's the N?
No N?
Yeah.
Intent?
Yeah.
Not intent?
Oh yeah.
No, that's fine. So it's very close to our original word, right? Do you know that word, Leslie? Do you know that word? In Spanish? I hope so. Alright, what is a character? What is a character?
A person who is in a story.
Nice. Right? Character could be someone on a TV show or in a movie, DeAndre? No. Brian, anything else?
Who the story is about.
Yeah, it could be who the story is about, absolutely. What is character in Spanish?
Personaje.
Spell it for me. Can you do it? You're so good at it.
I'll do the perspective.
Can you speak Spanish and not write it?
I can
Kind of? You speak.
Perspective.
Yeah, miss. I can speak like that, not like.
That's really interesting.
It's weird. That's how
It's weird. It's weird, that's why. Okay.
Spanish is weird.
Nice. Spanish isn't that weird. English is a little
I'll
bit.
write the perspective. Miss.
Can you do the first? Now that one's hard. Dartu, what do you got? You gonna raise your hand?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Thank you. What does perspective mean?
How the character feels about
Even.
We'll say the exact. Perspective. Do we know what that is in Spanish?
Perspectiva.
Yeah.
I guess that.
No, it's not that.
Is that what it is? So it's very close. All right.
Yeah.
No.
No.
With an O at the end, an O.
No.
No.
It doesn't say miss.
Because one is for a female, right? One's for a male.
Miss, you
No,
missed
it
the
doesn't
O.
say miss.
I think that's supposed to be an I.
No, put the E.
Miss is right.
So it's right.
That's right.
The O, miss.
No. It doesn't say miss.
What doesn't it depend on the gender?
It doesn't say miss.
I'll leave it with an O since most of you think it is.
It's like that.
Alright. So interesting. So, if now we know what these words mean, because yesterday we weren't super successful with putting it in our own words, let's take a look at our learning target. And I kind of simplified it a little bit. So, our goal today, I will identify a character's perspective in a story. Now that I know what it means to identify something, and I know what a character is, and I know what perspective is, in maybe simpler terms, do you think we can try writing it out in our own words now? Yeah? Alright, I'm going to give you what, like 2 minutes? And I want you as a table to write out in your own words what our learning target is. So instead of saying like identify, we might say what what instead? Search for something. Maybe tell what something is, because if you are looking for the character's perspective, right, you're going to be able to tell me what their perspective is. Got it? So I want you to take what we've done here and make your learning target something that you can understand in your own words. And you can work as a group, and I would like you to. You can come up with one learning target. Got it? You can do it in your do now section, your warm up section. So I'll give you what, like 2 minutes, and then we'll come together and see what we came up with. Got it? Yeah. Oh, you turn it off. Sure. All right. Aylin, can you work with those ladies, please? And then you two could work together. Yeah, do it in your warm up section. Not right now. We're gonna come to this real quick. I don't know if she wants it. So again, talk at your table. What am I asking you to do in your own words? And use these things. And I also have it right behind you, so you can take that and put it in your own words. What are we doing today? Who are we talking about? Who's our who today? Maybe just for learning target. You got a person? Who's the person in the learning target? Yes, character. You're supposed to take what we talked about with these words and put our learning target in your own words. So instead of saying, today I will identify a character's perspective, what am I asking you to do using this language? Yeah, I'm trying to have you put it in more kid-friendly language so you can understand exactly what we're doing. And since we did some of it in Spanish, my Spanish speakers should be able to write it. You can write it in Spanish if you want. That's fine. I have other people that can. So that's fine. If you want to use it, if you want to write it in Spanish, you can write it in Spanish. If that's easier for you. Or in whatever language you prefer. So if we're talking about a character is what? So he's a character. She's a character. Right? These are all characters. So what are we doing with our characters? I'm going to give you a little bit more time because I can tell some of you are not done, but Aylin, in about 2 minutes after you're done working with your group, we're going to share out whatever we've decided. So what are we looking for with our character? We're talking about perspective.
I'll identify characters.
What does that mean?
And I will support it.
So we're looking for how, so today, I will look for how a character feels. Now, so if we were reading this, I would be reading about how he feels about soccer.
Yeah, we're supposed to put the learning target and think like this.
Like this.
So look, we go down and I'm asking you what you guys think.
You can look at my name and friends. We can look at how does he feel about his friends. Do we like them? Probably, right? They're good. So that is what our goal is going to be today, is look at how they feel.
So we wrote them down. We wrote how they mean, and then the phrases we wrote in Spanish.
All right, I'm gonna give you what, 30-ish seconds. We'll work on it. Good. Maybe instead of how they feel about the story, maybe we say the event or what happened, kind of thing. That works. We can try. What's that word? The search events to the characters and their own. So we're gonna look for events that the character feels about, how they feel about it. Okay, so how they feel about a problem? Write that down. Or maybe instead of I will search on, I will look for would be a little bit better word. So, who are you focusing on today?
Which one?
Yeah, who is our who? Who are we looking at? So we're gonna read a story. No, we're gonna read a story. What do we call these people in a story? Second word. Characters, right? So we're looking at our characters, and we're looking at their perspective. What is perspective? Yeah, so we're gonna look at how these little pigs feel about what this wolf did. How do you think they would feel? Do you know this story? No, you've never read it? Alright, we're gonna get to it.
Miss, researching too about like how the books they write like in third person and first person.
That's part of it. We'll take some notes if we haven't already on point of view. Alright. Hey, Susan and Isaac, are you done?
Oh, no, but it's not yet. I do need help and I'm trying to explain it to them. All you gotta do is like make up your own.
So if you observe the person in the story, what are you observing them for? Remember, if you're observing, you're looking for information. So what information are we looking for about them? And that's Alright, let's come back together really quickly. And in our own words, let's describe what we're doing today. And you will write this down, especially if you haven't. Who's going to start me off? What are we doing? In your own words, what am I asking you to do with Sean?
Today you're asking us to be the learning target and creating our own word.
This is true, but with the learning target, what am I asking you to do? What am I asking you to learn, Karen?
Today, know what his character
Today, I will, and you said you will show? Oh, so I will tell how a character feels about an event. Nice. What was the last part?
and that was pretty.
And what is another way, what else can we call text evidence?
Evidence.
Without using text or evidence.
Newscast.
Details, feedback, maybe not quite feedback. Say it again.
Newscast.
Not a newscast. It is a sentence, maybe like an example.
Notice.
You are going to use an example, so again, I'll support it with examples from the story. So instead of saying text evidence, you're going to use information or details like Karen said from the story in order to show how that character feels. Got it? Does that make a little bit more sense than what we maybe originally came up with on our board? Ray, what are your feelings? Does that make a little bit more sense than that?
Yeah.
Okay. Write this down, Aaron and Jesus. Everybody else as well, write it down. In your do now section, thank you.
Under ours, right?
Yes. And as soon as you're done, then we'll get started practicing our perspective.